So this woman who is in the process of divorce is writing this post in the 2X chromosome subreddit. She says, I finally realized why he never feels appreciated. She says, in the process of a divorce and selling our house, lots of things to do to get the house ready. I've taken 4 days off of work officially and many more days work from home that she's stolen time. She says, all week I've been up late doing stuff while he goes to bed earlier than usual. I'm also sick with a crappy cold. I asked if he could take 1 day off because the photographer is coming tomorrow. He called me controlling, threw a fit, and eventually agreed. He did some stuff this morning. I thanked him and said I appreciated his help. He wanders in early afternoon and tells me I don't know how to show appreciation. When have you shown me any appreciation? She says, I realize now. It's so obvious. How did I miss this? He views his work as helping versus my work as being expected. This despite me earning more and working full time. This despite he stands to profit 50% from the sale proceeds. So her work is just expected because y'all, she is a wife appliance. They believe that women are supposed to be there to service them. And they're coming in to do this work if they believe that they have a wife appliance is drudgery. It's like, oh my God, why am I doing this? I have a wife appliance. And that's even when, like she said, she is the main breadwinner, or I'm sorry, she earns more than him. But even when women earn more, they're still expected to do more housework than the man. So Saxony Phone in the comments starts listing some articles where it's talking about the expectations of housework. So this first one is a hyperlink. It is an article from that person named Zahn. She's a content creator saying, it's not your fault your husband doesn't help. The myth of maternal gatekeeping. She says an apt line from this one in particular when it comes to your post. So when men try to help, is always framed as help when a man does it, not a basic obligation of being a functional adult. And then she gives 2 other links. Now, dual air is in a lesbian relationship. She says, I try to spread the word about using the H word as it help. I think women outside the sub sometimes are taken a little aback, but like, no, we need to get rid of that word. You are not helping. You are simply doing. You live in the house. Then you take care of the house. You don't act as an assistant that helps. She continues with, my wife's boss told her yesterday that she was such a good spouse for helping me. I guess she's supposed to be the husband. Don't ask me why. We both dress the exact same. My wife corrected her and said that she doesn't help. She just does her fair share, and we try to divide the labor. Like this admiration came from her doing the dishes and putting a pre-made meal in the oven, which I was grateful to have a hot meal to come home to. I was expecting to do the dishes. When I got home, so I appreciated that they were done. But like the bars in hell, if you can't expect your spouse to do even that. A Kestrel says, my mother-in-law once made some offhand remark about how my brother-in-law, married to her daughter, was annoyed that her daughter was away on some trip. As I recall, it was work-related too. And he was tired of babysitting their 2 children. I just blinked for a minute and said, he's their dad. I'm pretty sure that's called parenting. She liked that so much, she mentioned it to her daughter whenever brother-in-law complained about childcare duties going forward. And then Dualair says, language is really powerful. It is not by accident that they came up with help in babysitting. My wife and I used to have many of the arguments you see on here. It was daily fights. One time I got to the point that I was literally recording every day that I did the dishes. She then proclaimed I was lying, refused to look at my spreadsheet, then promptly began to do her share of dishes from that day forward. So yeah, language is definitely important. And how, like as I've been in more of these subs and doing this social media content, have been trying to take away the word help and put in participation, because all of us should be participating in the household. We should all be holding up our share of the work within the home, because it is literal work. But it becomes easier when everybody is doing their fair share around the home. Continuing to talk about gender roles, Biking Aim says, my mom was a leftist librarian in the 70s, supported the ERA, and still upheld patriarchal gender roles between my brother and me. I'm still low key furious 35 years later that I'd get asked to go to the kitchen after dinner parties as a younger kid when my brother would sit on his teenage butt with the men and never help. This hasn't changed much in adulthood, and I find it maddening. I'm a 15-minute drive from her, and my brother a 13-hour drive. So my endless tech support and help shuffling her around is equal to his calling for 5 minutes and asking how her day is going. Now, this type of thing where the boys got to sit with the men, that is one of the main reasons that they are shaped to believe that they don't have to participate in the household as an adult male. This comment was interesting. Crazy Snack Girl says, me and my fiance are both women, but I'm more masculine presenting and she's very feminine. To put it bluntly, take one look. People take one look at me and immediately assume I'm a lesbian, even though I'm bi, whilst others are legitimately shocked that my partner likes women. So more often than not, men see me as one of the guys instead of an actual woman and treat me as such. It's absolutely infuriating. But what annoys me the most is that they also assume that I'm the man in my relationship and therefore I must treat my fiance with the same disdain they treat their wives. And they go into excruciating detail about how bad their partners are and how much they hate them and how in the world we would be better off without women in it. Just because the wife expects them to pick up after themselves or care for their kids or do the tasks they've been putting off for 7 years. They just drone on about never being appreciated or never getting a thank you or never getting a treat for doing the most basic effing chores. It's wild when these men are so annoyed about being married, but women are walking away from this stuff because they are seeing the disdain that they have for women and they are leaving these people alone. So if men don't want to be married, let them be single because they are still getting the benefits of marriage even when they hate their wives. So the same woman who wrote about now she understands why her husband feels unappreciated, she wrote this in the divorce subreddit saying the divorce is just like the marriage. In the marriage, I carried unequal burdens financially with the kids, managing the house, the dog, etc. And in our divorce, it's exactly the same. We have a few projects to do to list our house for sale. I'm doing 75% while he's going to bed early. Ugh, I cannot wait to be detached from this leech. Women are getting fed up of doing all of this stuff. And in reality, when you are doing all of these things and you're married, you're carrying the bigger load financially. You're doing most of the stuff with the kids. You're managing the house. If you get rid of the leech, then your burdens, even though you're doing it alone, still raise because you don't have this other person in there that you're just looking at, wondering, are they going to help or participate? Now, this was 3 weeks ago when she first started talking about her divorce, saying he was only a good dad when it served him. Now he's absentee. And this was literally 3 weeks ago. She says, just a rant about another shitty man. My husband and I have a 2.5-year-old and a 16-month-old. I asked for a divorce last week. He left the next day. Not only is he not contributing to the joint mortgage and childcare, but he has not even asked about the kids, tried to call or visit. It's like the kids suddenly cease to exist. This is very distressing for my 2.5-year-old, as my husband had been a hands-on dad. He did laundry, bath times. Up until a week ago, you would have thought of him as a dedicated father, but it seems as soon as he realized he couldn't get access to my body or my money, suddenly the kids have no value to him. What an effing peen. Now, the thing is, we have talked about this. Once men are done with the relationship or you're done with them, they can easily, just like that, leave these kids alone. And women need to see and understand this dynamic so that when or if they choose to have children, that they are prepared for the fact that these peen havers can easily walk away. All right, y'all, join the conversation. Let me know what you think about all of this. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.